Willy Wonka invented the three-course meal chewing gum. As you chewed it, you got a three-course meal. But that didn't work. Johnny Appleseed planted apple trees all over and, well, grew apples for everyone. But we can't survive on apples alone, can we? Jack had magic beans that he planted, which grew a giant stalk, which could have fed the entire world. But these are fairy tales. We don't have a magic method to feed everybody right now. And here in the US, we could sure use it. 37 million Americans struggle with hunger each day, including more than 11 million kids. These are in households where families earn about $25,000 a year. Nationally, almost 1 in 4 American households reported being food insecure at one point last year. 56% of those food insecure households participate in at least one major federal food assistance program, mostly SNAP, free lunch at school, or food pantries, which is terrible since we're pretty much the best economy in the world. Now, the cities we're going to talk about today have higher unemployment rates. They're places that have a higher proportion of poor single-parent households, where folks live on disability, and where communities have people with less than a high school education. These are the hunger capitals of America. Sadly, these are only a handful of them. Let's begin. Our journey begins in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. Like every other city we're going to discuss, Birmingham's a poor city where many households remain in poverty. The food hardship percentage in Birmingham is a whopping 30%. That means 3 in 10 families in Birmingham didn't have enough money to buy food within the last year, which is sad. And as a whole, within the entire state of Alabama, 7% of households are unsure when their next meal will come from. Birmingham's in Jefferson County, and 80,000 families in Jefferson County are also unsure where their next meal will come from. Now, over the course of this video, we're going to talk about reasons why people are going hungry and what solutions are in place. Here in Birmingham, we know the problem. People are poor. But how do we feed hungry kids? Part of the solution is schools. There's programs in place where kids get meals before, during, and after school. And a lot of kids get backpacks with food that they can then take home for the weekend. But a lot of other kids have to sneak in extra food into their pockets and backpacks to take home. And then again on Monday, the kids come back starving again, as if the food wasn't enough for them for the weekend, or other people in the household took it from them. Our next stop is in San Francisco, a city that we talk about a lot. For a long time, this has been one of the most expensive cities in the nation, and recent gentrification means a lot of people with low-paying jobs can't afford to live here. Because of the huge demand for food assistance here, about a third of the requests for emergency food go unmet, which means the government and the nonprofits here can't keep up with demand. Of course, homelessness is a big part of the problem here. If you don't have a house, you likely don't have much food either. For years now, food pantries in the Bay Area have been working hard to meet the heavy demand for food assistance. The San Francisco Food Bank feeds about 30,000 homeless people every week and gave out 30 million pounds of food last year. San Francisco also has a problem called SNAP in a Day, where needy families can apply and receive EBT cards on the same day. Now, we're talking about the cities where people are starving, but what about the states? The states with the most food insecurity are New Mexico, Mississippi, Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada. And you can see the numbers here, which show just how many kids are food insecure in these states.
You are the lucky family. Tonight, you'll have the same dinner served in some of the most exotic countries of the world.
And it's beef teriyaki. Wow!
No.
How about shrimp curry?
Great!
No. Here's your treat.
Plain rice. That's lucky.
Yes, because you're part of 1/3 of the world's people who will not go hungry today. Find out what your church, synagogue, and service organizations are doing about world hunger. The way we live does make a difference.
Now, a city you may not have heard much about, Winston-Salem, has been having a really hard time with food insecurity. This North Carolina city, about an hour east of Charlotte, has seen its food insecurity numbers climb of late, and currently 35% of residents here face food hardship. In fact, North Carolina and Louisiana are now the top states for hunger in children under age 4. A Winston-Salem-based organization called HOPE has organized the community here. Volunteer residents prepare meals at home, and church groups also take part. The food is then distributed to families on weekends.
I'm lucky that I have enough food for my family.
You are, Mappy. I think many of us should count our blessings. Hey, so we had an alert subscriber named Marcia Day. She wanted to know if you would sing. I think people are tired of me singing.
I can try. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving all our love. Why are you guys looking at me like that? Was that bad? Jeez, tough crowd, just trying to help. Man. Moving on, we come to the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. The second largest city on the East Coast has a lot of poverty and economic deprivation. Many have pointed out that the aggressive gentrification here has pushed the poor out of popular areas and into new neighborhoods. But that problem creates homelessness and additional poverty. Half of the homeless in Philadelphia can't find shelter assistance, and 1 in 5 residents can't find food assistance. What's also troubling, more than half of the people who need food assistance here actually have jobs. So there's a lot of people who are regular working folks who can't feed their families. That's troubling. And the problem here gets worse every time Congress votes to scale back food assistance programs. Ironically, Fresno, California, the heart of the agriculture center of the West Coast, has a ton of people who are starving. Like, they're growing food in every corner of California's Central Valley, but a third of the families here struggle to acquire it. And many of the families who are struggling to eat are the ones out picking the crops. 22% of the population of Fresno County lives below the federal poverty line. Now, earlier we talked about the U.S. states which have the highest rates of food insecurity. In terms of countries, the 10 places in the world where people are the most malnourished of all are in Africa, which probably isn't a surprise. In the nation of Burundi, 3/4 of the population is believed to be malnourished. That's the highest rate in the world. Many other African nations see malnourishment rates close to 50%. Going back to 30 years ago, the number of people in the world who didn't have enough food has gone down from 1 billion, or about 1 in 7 people on Earth, to 800 million. That's great, but still very sad. And where does America rank? Like our friends in Canada, Russia, Europe, and Australia, below 2%.
Every year, 10 million third world children don't live to see their 3rd birthday, and another 5 million will be gone before their 5th birthday. Those that do live beyond that ripe old age for this part of the world will grow up in dung heaps like this. Happy birthday.
Beyond the glitz and glamour of cheap buffets and free drinks on the Strip is a very large population of residents who are simply starving. 31% of Las Vegas residents go hungry each week, and 1 in 8 households do. Organizers estimate that hunger costs Vegas $500 million a year. Nearly 1 in 5 kids in Las Vegas experience food insecurity, and the effects often cause lifelong problems.
I made my famous chicken and dumpling casserole. I want to give this to a hungry family.
Wow, Karen Mappy, you've really changed. I didn't think you had it in you. Bravo. I'll take that and see if I can find a family who would appreciate that. That was nice. Man, she's really turned over a new leaf. I tell you, surprise, surprise. New Orleans is a very poor place, so unsurprisingly, many of its residents are hungry each night. An enormous percentage, 73% of all residents here who need food assistance live at or beneath the poverty line. And as a whole here, a third of the city is under food hardship. Because folks here and in many other cities are poor, they eat cheap food, which means a lot of chips, soda, candy, and fast food, which leads to weight gain, diabetes, and other issues. Of course, fruit is fairly cheap, as are vegetables, but a box of mac and cheese will fill up a belly more than a salad. Plus, who wants to eat a salad when they're starving? With a third of residents facing food hardship, Orlando ranks as a city with the 3rd highest rate of food insecurity. Nearly 1 out of 3 Florida households with kids reported not having enough money to buy food. And 90% of the people in Central Florida who visit Florida food banks aren't even homeless. They're people with jobs who are struggling to keep up with their bills each month. A lot of them have to pick between buying food or keeping the lights on, or putting gas in the car, or paying their medical bills. Eastern Arkansas certainly has issues when it comes to food insecurity. 30% of residents here are on SNAP, and 30% live in poverty. Arkansas ranks 3rd in the nation for food insecurity, and a whopping 18% of the entire state of Arkansas faces hunger. 18%. That is just so sad in today's America. Now, is there a connection between hunger and success in life? Of course there is. Kids who grow up hungry face psychological and emotional setbacks as well as physical setbacks. So our future is being held back because of a lack of food on the table. Is there a unique solution for eliminating hunger in this country? Nothing really innovative. Everything from food donations to urban gardens to sustainable farming and even better educated youths is talked about. There isn't a magic pill that we can make that'll magically feed everyone. Which American city has the biggest problem with hunger? That would be Memphis, Tennessee. The Food Research Action Center declared Memphis to be the hunger capital of the U.S. About a third of its residents have suffered from food insecurity at some point in the last year, and more than half of the requests for emergency food assistance here go unmet. Food pantries in Memphis are overwhelmed with requests, and they're having a hard time getting the money to meet the demands. So basically, a lot of people here need food and they don't have enough of it. Unemployment, low wages, and poverty are the main cause of hunger in Memphis, where the unemployment rate's higher than most other cities and where about 30% of folks live at or below the poverty line. Now, the options here make things worse. Sure, there's a lot of fast food restaurants and convenience stores here, but there's very few supermarkets with affordable groceries. The worst areas of Memphis in this regard are called food deserts. Sure, there's a lot of food here, just not real food. So that's it, the hunger capitals of America. A very sad situation indeed. These are the places in America where large pockets of regular working folks and their children don't know where their next meals will come from, which is a shame in the richest economy in the world. Now, of course, there's tons of ways you can help. There's links in the description for websites that you can donate to or contact in any way if you want to help. Remember, there's hungry people all around us. They might be your neighbors or your coworkers or the person behind you in line at the store. The next time you sit down for a meal at home, be grateful for what you have, because there's people all around us who aren't so lucky. The end. Hey guys, if you learned something new or you just like this video, make sure to like it. And if you really like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get all of our videos about what it's like to live in different places in America. Peace.